If you've been with or you're currently with someone who is emotionally unavailable, you probably know the exquisite pain of being in a relationship, of having a partner, and feeling incredibly lonely. The lack of intimacy, the lack of connection can feel unbearable at times. And what happens when we experience this? We fantasize. We fantasize about what the relationship could look like if this person would change, if they would one day open up their heart to us and become truly available to us. We do this to keep the hope alive so we can stay in the relationship. And very often what we also do is we ask a lot of questions. We start to ask ourselves a lot of questions, and we ask other people these same questions, maybe even getting on Google and searching for these answers. So 2 of the most common questions that I get asked are, can this person change? And will my partner, who is emotionally unavailable, ever be fully available to me? Will they ever truly love me? I want to start by sharing a little bit about my story. So back in the day, a long time ago, I myself was emotionally unavailable. I was young, I was in high school, beginning of college, and if you had asked me at that point if I could change, I would have said no. I would have felt very offended that you wouldn't be even asking me to change, because I felt like there was nothing wrong with how I was. I had no problem with my life at that time. A lot of my stuff was suppressed. I wasn't aware of it, and I was just going about my business, living my life, not being fully open to people, but not having a problem with it. I truly didn't see that there was an issue here. Now, it wasn't until years later that I was willing to do the work and go on a healing journey. And this actually happened after some significant things happened in my life that kind of broke my heart open, we could speak. I had a lot of challenges that I experienced that brought me to that place where I was truly ready to do that work. But before then, no, it was not happening. So I share this to give you a little bit of a perspective on what it's like for someone who is emotionally available. I've also talked to my partner about this, who did experience some of his own emotional availability at different times when he was younger. And he said the same thing. He was with someone, actually dating someone who he really liked, was really into, but he was not ready to be fully emotionally available. And so he actually ended up leaving that relationship. And it wasn't until years later that he did decide, you know what, I am ready. Relationships are important to me. So my answer to the first question, can someone change? The answer is yes. People can change. It is possible. Now, I'm not talking about people who are high in narcissistic traits here, or people who have narcissistic personality disorder. That stuff's not going to change. I'm not talking about that here. But barring any severe mental illness or a personality disorder, people absolutely can change. However, big however here, big disclaimer, this does not mean that people have the desire to change, the willingness to change. Like I talked about in my example, if you had asked me to change at that time, no, I wasn't going to do it because I didn't have the desire. Again, I had no problem with how I was. I didn't see any need for things to be different. I was comfortable. I was fine. And so that's the key here. People can change, but not many people have the desire and the willingness to change. If you have ever tried to break a long-standing pattern of your behavior, like you're going on your healing journey and you realize there's things that have to change, if you've ever tried to do that, you know how hard that is. You know how uncomfortable it is to be in that position. And it makes it so that most people are not willing to go there. They don't want to get out of their comfort zone. They're not willing to go through that pain in order to change. They have to truly want it. They have to really be motivated within to go through that process. So people can change, when they want to, and when they're ready. There's nothing we can do to get them ready. It has to be something that they choose to do on their own, where they have, again, that internal motivation to change. So to answer the second question, will this partner I have who is unavailable ever love me? Will they be fully emotionally available someday? My answer to this question is do not wait for someone to be emotionally available. I waited 15 years for someone to be emotionally available. I kept waiting and hoping and fantasizing about what it would be like one day. I kept doing my healing work, hoping that I would inspire my partner to change. I was hoping that with all the work I was doing, they would see how wonderful it was, how beautiful it could be. They would be inspired by the changes that I was making to do their own changes. And you guys, it never happened. Never happened. I spent 15 years waiting, and those are 15 years that I will never get back. I could have spent so much more time in a loving relationship like I am now, where someone is truly available to me. So it is my deepest wish that none of you spend any more time in these relationship dynamics waiting and hoping for something to change, because the odds of that happening are so incredibly low. I would never recommend anyone do this. Does it happen? Yes. It's possible that people can change and open up and truly love you. Is it likely? No. No, it is not. Do not be me. This is my message here today in this video. Do not be me. Do not spend years of your life waiting for someone to love you. There are men out there are partners out there who are truly emotionally available. They've always been that way. They don't even need to go on a healing journey. They're available and ready to love you. And there are men who are also on that healing journey, who were not available in the past, but they are now, or they're getting there. They're getting ready to be. They are out there, I promise you. If you are in a place where you're like, yeah, Lindsay, I hear you say that, but you know what? I don't believe that they're out there. I don't believe it's possible, or I think that this is as good as it gets for me. I think that all that I can really have is this unavailable person. This is what I have to settle for. What I can tell you is that this is not the reality. This perspective that there is no one out there, I held this too. And this comes from deep subconscious beliefs that we're not good enough, that no one loves us, that everyone always leaves us. And this is actually what I help women with in my healing program. I help women to rewire these subconscious beliefs that are keeping them stuck in these unfulfilling relationships, not getting their needs met and feeling incredibly lonely. When we rewire these beliefs, we are then able to see the world differently, to see that there is real love out there, and to see that we are worthy and deserving of it. There are also emotional energies that fuel these beliefs, like abandonment trauma. That's one of the most common energies that keeps us stuck in unfulfilling relationships. So again, what I do in my program with the women who work with me is I go in there and I help them to release these energies so they're free from that burden and they're able to find healthy love. So if you're interested in learning more about my work, click on my website. I'm going to leave it here in the description. And you guys, it is truly, truly my deepest wish that no one spends any more time in such an unfulfilling relationship, because I know that real love is out there for you. And my mission here is to help you go find it. So if you liked this topic and you want to learn more about how to spot emotional unavailability, click here. And please do subscribe. Click here to do that, because I come out with new videos every week on how to heal from toxic relationships break that toxic relationship cycle, and find real, healthy love.